So this is chapter 30, section 4, the truth behind illusions. Like I was saying, the truth behind everything I believe, everything I made up. All right, the truth behind illusions. Does everybody have a book that wants one? There's 2 more on the piano. All right, are you ready? Ready? All right. First sentence. You will attack what doesn't satisfy. Thank you, Bella. I've trained her to sneeze on cue. I have a little remote control right here. You will attack what doesn't satisfy. What is it I attack? Oh, you know, what doesn't satisfy. What doesn't satisfy. And when I attack what isn't satisfying me, I'm not going to see I made it up. That's the first sentence. You're going to attack what doesn't satisfy, and by attacking it, you won't see you made it up. That's interesting. So I only attack what doesn't satisfy. Doesn't that make attack sound arrogant? How dare you not satisfy me? Don't you know that's your function? To satisfy me? And that actually makes attack seem so, it reminds you how arrogant attack really is. You will attack what doesn't satisfy, and by attacking it, you will not see you made it up. Whoa. In other words, you always fight illusions. You always attack illusions. You always fight illusions. There's only one thing you fight against. There's only one thing you attack, and it ain't what's true. Isn't that interesting? Wow. You never attack what's true in someone else. You're always attacking or fighting against illusions. That's interesting. Whatever it is I'm fighting against right now, whatever it is I'm attacking, whatever it is that I'm attacking because it didn't satisfy me, it's an illusion. Isn't that interesting? Then it says, you always fight illusions. Why? Because the truth behind the illusions is so lovely and so still in loving gentleness that were you aware of the truth behind your illusions, you would forget your defensiveness entirely and rush to that truth's embrace. Wow. Wow. Interesting. I forgot to get myself some water. Would somebody be willing to grab me? Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay. So, how do you know that you're only fighting illusions, that you only attack what's not true? Because the truth behind what you want to attack right now, the truth behind that is so lovely that, and still in loving gentleness, that were you aware of that truth behind what you're attacking right now, you would rush to the embrace of the truth behind what you're attacking now. Okay, so if I saw the loveliness that is behind what I'm attacking right now, then I would be rushing to the embrace of that truth. Interesting. There's loveliness behind whatever I'm attacking right now. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, and I always fight illusions. Here's an illusion. What do I do with it? I attack it. I fight it. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Thank you. Okay.
I guess I was really relieved to learn that I don't fight anything real. I don't have any real enemies.
You don't have any real enemies. Yeah. That's great. You never
think
fight.
Of all our conflicts and how real they seem to us.
Yep.
If we could remember that, we see it in a whole different light.
Totally. It says you always fight illusions because the truth could never be attacked. The truth could never be attacked. Interesting. So if you're fighting against it, if you're attacking it because it didn't satisfy you, you know right off the bat that what you're dealing with is a misperception, something you made up. Because the truth could never be attacked. If you were perceiving the truth in any given situation, in any given person or yourself, it would never, you would rush to embrace it. You wouldn't be fighting it, you wouldn't be attacking it. So if you're attacking something because it didn't satisfy you, you go, I know I can't be perceiving the truth right now. Not in me, not in them, not in this situation. Okay? So remember, this course is always, in every paragraph, just trying to teach us how to recognize when we are deceiving ourselves, when we are believing the lies that we made up, and when we're then seeing them with our eyes. How to tell when that's happening, so that why? So that you don't take it seriously, and you don't do anything about it except rush to truth, run to truth. Don't walk, run. Okay? That's the value of learning how to tell. How do I know when I am perceiving something I made up out of my insanity? Well, it's not satisfying me, and I want to attack it. Because the truth could never be attacked. And this you knew when you made that stuff up. As a matter of fact, you made that problem up so that you would forget that the truth could never be attacked. What does that mean, the truth could be never attacked? The truth is something that is so lovely and so still in its gentleness that you could not attack it. You could only rush to embrace it. That's how you know that you're perceiving truly or the truth. You just want, you would never dream of attacking it, you just want to rush to it and embrace it. Okay? So then he says, and you knew that when you made this problem up. You knew that when you made that illusion up, that now that doesn't satisfy you. As a matter of fact, you made up that problem so that you could forget the truth. That's the purpose of it. That's the purpose of the problem. That's the purpose of having made up something that doesn't satisfy you. Interesting. What's this problem for? So I can forget the truth. I really wanted to forget the truth. I really wanted to forget the truth today. So I made up this illusion. In other words, I made up this thing that couldn't satisfy me, and it didn't satisfy me, and so then I felt like it justified my attack, so I attacked it. That's what's really going on. That's what's really happening. He says, as a matter of fact, this problem was made that the truth might be forgotten. In other words, you only attack only false ideas. You only attack false ideas. Interesting. If I'm attacking it, it's a false idea. You only attack only false ideas. Interesting. And as a matter of fact, he says, you never attack truthful ideas. If it was the truth, if you were perceiving the truth, you could only love it. It would only make you supremely happy. And then he says, as a matter of fact, all idols are the false ideas you made to fill the gap you think arose between yourself and what is true. And you attack those false ideas for the things you think those false ideas represent. What lies beyond those false ideas cannot be attacked. So what's an idol? It's a false idea that you made up. It's a false idea. It's an unsatisfying idea that you made up to fill the gap that you think is between you and what is true. Interesting. Okay, so who was out today making up a bunch of false ideas? Who today was worshiping a bunch of false ideas in the form of attack? Anyone? Okay. Okay, and all the rest of you, I ended that.
I said I didn't have time.
What did you say? You didn't have time? Oh, you didn't have time? Oh, okay. Cool. So you telling me you didn't have time to have a bad day today? That's great. I was so busy, I had to be happy. I was so busy, I didn't have time to make up any false ideas and attack them because they didn't satisfy me.
I was focusing on other people's benefits.
Oh, okay. Well, that was some false ideas you made up. So even you made up some false ideas today. You just projected them out into them. How convenient. Yes.
Now, Anna, now, if I find myself defending myself against something, that's the same as attack, right?
Absolutely. 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 You only defend yourself against false ideas. So if I'm defending myself, and this and that made me angry, and that offended me, and that pissed me off, and that hurt me, what am I doing? I am attacking, I'm fighting against false ideas that I made up. I made it up that I'm not good enough, that there's something wrong with me, I'm a bad person, and I'm selfish, whatever. I made it up. That's why when they said something to me that sounded like it was reflecting, something, I attacked, I defended it. I defended myself against their idea. Why? Because I believe in them. Why? Because I made them up. I made it up that there's something wrong with me. And so when somebody says to me, there's something wrong with you, what is wrong with you? Then I attack, I defend myself against that because I believe it. Okay? Now, how much time could we save ourselves if we actually accepted and believed this? How much time do I waste during a day fighting against illusions, fighting against things that aren't true, fighting against false ideas? Wow, what percentage of my day, I wonder, really is used in expending my precious energy in fighting against something that's a total illusion? What a waste of time. What a complete waste of time and energy. Interesting. How much energy would I be conserving and having for something positive if I wasn't fighting against illusions? Meaning defending against that and trying to prove that wrong and trying to fight against that and trying to prove that wrong. Wow, what would I do with all that energy? I'd probably save the world in a day. I tell you what, I'd save the world and become rich in one day. I would wake up, become rich, become healthy, and totally helpful in one day. If I wasn't wasting my time and energy and my creativity on fighting against things that aren't even true to begin with. Wouldn't that be great if you felt that defensive rise up, that temptation to fight against something, and you went, hey, I'm getting ready to fight against something. It must not be true. I'm not going to waste my time. Well, you'd be like, oh. And then miracles would come in. Boom! Miracles would be right there. Boom! And then you would be like, whoa. That course? Dang. It really is true. It really is true. It really is true. Wow. Okay. Let's go on. So he says, the wearying, dissatisfying idols that you made, the wearying, dissatisfying ideas that you made, all they are blown up children's toys. Careful, they're fragile. They are blown up children's toys. That's what you just said, Mom, my ideas are. Everything I feel upset about, everything that wearies me, everything that dissatisfies me, that I want to attack, it's just a blown up children's toy. Wow. It's like fighting against one of those, those blow up dolls that you punch and it goes back down and it comes right back up. That's what I'm fighting against. Just blown up children's toys. And yes, a child is frightened when a wooden head springs up as a closed box is opened suddenly. And yet, or a child is frightened when a soft and silent woolly bear begins to squeak or sneeze as the child takes hold of that woolly bear. So yeah, even though it's just a toy, when the toy acts in unexpected ways, it can be frightening to the child, correct? Okay. Then he says, the rules that the child made for boxes and for bears have failed him. In other words, what? The wooden head springs up as a closed box is opened suddenly, or when a soft and silent woolly bear begins to squeak as he takes hold of it. The rules that the child made for his toys have failed him. As the child I think the toy should react this way, I think the toy should behave this way, and when it doesn't, I, the child, am frightened by that. So I made this relationship toy, and I made up the rules for it, and when it doesn't behave that way and the head springs off of it, or when my partner's head springs off, I become frightened. The rules that we make for our toys fail us and we become frightened. And then he says, the rules that we made for our toys, I'm just going to read this sentence. The rules we made for boxes and for bears have failed us and have broken our so-called control of what surrounds us. And now we, the children, are afraid because we thought the rules that we made for our toys protected us. Now we've got to learn, the child has to learn, that boxes and bears did not deceive us, broke no rules, nor mean our world is made chaotic and unsafe. We were just mistaken. We misunderstood what made us safe and thought that it had left. Isn't that a beautiful analogy for what is happening when we become afraid, shocked, and then feel unsafe? The thing that makes us afraid is this. You make up these illusions. He calls them toys. What we're upset about is a blown up children's toy. I took a false idea. You're to blame. There's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with you. I took that idea and I blew it up. And here it is. Okay? And then you put a string on it and you carry it around. Okay, so these blown up children's toys, we tell ourselves, number one, that they're not toys, and then we make up rules for them. Here, relationship, you are supposed to behave like this. Here, person, you're supposed to behave like this. Here, job, you're supposed to behave like this. Here, health, here's the rules for you. And we make up these rules for these things in our lives, and then we tell ourselves, as long as those things behave according to the rules I made for them, I'm safe. And I'm in control. I'm safe means I'm in control. And we walk around thinking that as long as these relationships and as long as these bodies and these jobs or whatever maintain the rules we gave to them and play along those rules, that we're safe, we're in control. I'm safe because now I'm in control. Okay? And then when those toys break, or when they do something we didn't expect, we have this perception like, oh my God, it broke my control, it broke my control, now I'm not in control, it broke my control, I don't have control. Obviously, look at it. And then how do I interpret that? As if I'm unsafe. Now I'm unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever notice a sense of vulnerability that comes in when things around you break or go wrong? Because you told yourself and you believed that your safety was everything going according to plan. Everything going according to plan and doing exactly the role you gave it. And the rules, everything following the rules you gave them. Relationships, these are your rules. Body, here's your rules. Job, here's your rules. World, money, here's your rules. And when they don't follow those rules, why? Because they're illusions. It seems to have broken our control of our world and we feel unsafe. Wow. Isn't it great to know what's really going on when you start feeling that sense of unsafety? It's like, I feel out of control. I feel out of control because the rules I gave to my illusions didn't hold. They broke them. Wow.
Isn't
Okay.
it interesting, this illustration about children? What they're saying is, all you guys are playing make-believe.
Yes.
But when I was a kid, I knew I was playing make-believe. And as we grow up, we lose our ability to distinguish what's make-believe and what's real.
Beautiful.
The
That's
little
beautiful.
kids know.
That's That's right. That's why when their things break and things go wrong, they cry for a second, then they're on something else. Unlike us, who then become obsessed, and then stalk our toys, or beat them up. Exactly. The kid's like, oh, okay, must not be real. It's make believe. They go on to the next thing. Go on to the next make believe game.
I think Chelsea, well, I don't know where she went. Chelsea talked about this once. I had a toy I left behind, and it's okay that that toy is not in my dream anymore. But that damn toy has a mind of its own. It keeps showing up, and every time that toy comes back, it's like, you know.
Right. Exactly. That's because we have forgotten that they are things we made up. We've forgotten that it's a toy. It's something we made up to delight us. Basically. Ooh, this will satisfy me, I'll make this up. Ooh, that'll make me satisfied. That'll make me happy, I'll make this up. It's a toy, something we made up to entertain us. And then forgot that it was just a toy. Thought it was real, and then when it broke, when it failed us, then forgetting it was just a toy, we've believed that now our control was broken and that now we're unsafe. But what really, he says, but what really happened was we were just mistaken, which means we misunderstood what made us safe, and then we thought what made us safe left. Okay, so what's going on? I misunderstood, I thought it kept me safe, and then what made me safe left. And that's why I'm upset right now. That's why I'm so afraid right now. I mistakenly believed things going my way, people doing what I say makes me safe. I mistakenly believed that having control over my situations, my relationships, my body, my money, other people made me safe. If my job will just go according to the rules I set for it, if this relationship would just go according to the rules I set for it, I'm in control and I'm safe. Isn't that interesting that we have come to believe that our safety lies in our ability to control the people around us, the situations around us? Wow. Forgetting that that's not where your safety comes from. That's not where my safety comes from. So now, when my toys fail me, and they fail to take the rules I assign to them, now what I'd like to go is, I notice that I feel vulnerable when things around me break, and things around me fail, and people break my rules that I gave to them without asking them. Oh yeah, that's not what makes me safe. That's not what makes me safe. What does make me safe, Holy Spirit? What does make me safe? Is it people doing what I expected them to do? Is it my body staying the way I expected it to stay? Is it my job staying the way I expected it to stay? Where can I go for protection, Holy Spirit? Where is my safety? And then the Course goes on to say in another section, section 6, he says, safety really is the complete relinquishment of attack. That's where safety really comes from. The experience of harm comes only from your own attack. It's only because you still believe in the value and the power of attacking others to get what you want. Only because of that do you believe that you can also be harmed by attack. Wow. So he says, safety comes from the complete relinquishment of attack. It's only by the giving up of the desire to attack in which you know you cannot be attacked yourself. That's where real safety comes from.
Lies in the defenselessness.
Exactly. My safety lies in my defenselessness, not my fighting against illusions. Wow. You always fight against illusions, meaning something you made up. Interesting. You never fight against the truth. You never attack the truth. Truth can't be attacked. Truth is so lovely. and so loving that if you were to perceive it, even a glimpse of it, you would forget your defensiveness entirely and rush to embrace it. So it's not truth you're fighting against. It's not truth you're it's not the truth about them or the truth about yourself that you're defending against.
So instead of control being our safety, it's going to guarantee attack.
Mm-hmm.
Where
That's right.
the defenses that make what they would defend against.
That's exactly right. It's just
I need to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Control is just going to make sure I feel unsafe every time.
Right. Exactly. So everything that we are attacking is something that we made up and then made these rules for. This is how you're supposed to operate, okay? This is how this is supposed to go. And then, of course, since it's an illusion, what happens? Can it ever fulfill that script perfectly? Not at all. Not at all. And then, so it's inevitable that thing, that idol, failed. It's inevitable.
Now,
Okay. Yes.
now, as you were saying that, the relinquishment of attack and defense and being totally vulnerable, it's like a part of me experienced sheer terror
Yes.
around that.
Yeah.
Because see, I think it's my ego. It tells me, well, look at your experiences when you have been quote unquote vulnerable,
Right.
and then you've experienced pain.
Yes. Right. For totally forgetting that the sense of vulnerability and pain came from attack. That was its origin. Your ego wants you to believe that the vulnerability came from being attacked, or came from giving love.
Right.
Right. But the sense of vulnerability and the attack that you experienced came from attack. Okay. All right. So let's read on. So the gap that is not there, what gap? The gap that you think exists between you and love. The gap that you think exists between you and truth. That gap. Okay? The gap that isn't there. There's no gap between you and love. Can you recognize that? That gap that we believe is there. Love isn't in me. I don't know where it is. I just sure it's somewhere outside of me. That's the gap that I think exists between me and all power, all love. That gap that isn't really there is filled with toys in countless forms. Okay, that's all of our idols. Everything that I made up to satisfy me, besides the truth that's in me, that's a toy. That's an idol. And the gap that I think exists between me and love is filled with toys and idols in countless forms. You can't even count the forms of idols and toys that I've made to fill in that gap. Since I'm not love, what am I going to do? Honey, I'm going to make some things for myself. I don't have love. There's a gap in me. There's a void in me, and I'm going to fill it. I'm busy. I'm busy filling that void that doesn't really exist, but I believe it does. So what am I doing? All day long, I'm making forms and making toys and making forms and making toys and making up more forms and making up more toys. To what? To fill in that void that isn't really there. There's no void between you and love. Wow, I just saw it. I'm making toys to fill the void. Wow. What you doing? I'm going out shopping today to get some toys to fill the void. How about you? Yeah, and I'm even gonna go into debt for it. Yeah.
Why do we fill the void? I mean, why do we create the void?
We have made the void out of our belief that there is a gap between ourselves and love, a gap between ourselves and God. So it's an illusion. That's a definition of illusion. Something I believe is there, that's not there. So the void or the gap is a belief. And why did I make it? Because I was afraid of union. I was afraid that union would obliterate the separateness that I believed I made. And so now I'm afraid of love. I rejected love. I rejected God. I was like, what, God? You won't make me special? You're not going to single me out? See ya. See you later. I'm going to go make myself a world and a body where I can have something just for me. And he says you can't reject God like that without projecting your rejection onto him and now thinking God wants to reject you, that God wants to attack you. That rejection of God, well, that was an attack. Well, God's not offended, but it was an attack. It was an attack on truth. And since we attacked truth, we can't help but believe that now truth wants to attack us. Right? You can't attack God and not project onto God that he wants to do the same thing to you. God doesn't. God's like, what attack? What attack? What are you talking about? There's only one of us here, dear. Right? That's a God's response. God's not like, oh, you. I can't believe, after all I've done for you, I've given you everything. I'm all love, and I created you as all love, and you ran away from home. Oh, I'm so offended. That's so rude. How ungrateful could you be? God, God's not. He said the offense is not to God. God's not offended. It's just that when you rejected God and you attacked God, you can't help but believe that God wants to do the same thing to you. So now we're terrified of God. Now we're terrified of unity. Now we're terrified of the oneness that we are part of. Now we're terrified. And so, it's like, shoot, I pissed God off. And you know how he is. It's like, he's all powerful. And I pissed him off. And so, let me tell you, now I want to stay as far away from him as I possibly can. Okay? And how am I going to do that? I'm going to believe that there's a gap between me and God. But that leaves me feeling lonely and dissatisfied. Well, now what am I going to do? I'm going to fill that gap. I'm going to get myself satisfied. And I'm going to get this toy, and I'm going to put it in the gap, and I get this toy, and I put it in the gap. I'm going to fill that void. Now, we're all vaguely aware of that part of us that is doing a lot of external searching to fill an empty space within us, right? I'm bored today. What am I going to do? I feel lonely today. What am I going to do? I'm going to go find something. I'm not going to sit down and notice that I feel dissatisfied within. It feels like there's a void within. And ask for the correction of the belief that there's some kind of void in me. No, I'm not going to do that. No. I'm not going to sit down and go within and go, wow, there really is no emptiness in me. There really is nothing missing. There's no emptiness in me. I'm full. I'm full. I'm full. I'm so full, I am overflowing. No, I'm not going to do that. What am I going to do? I'm going to go shopping. What am I going to do? I'm going to go to gym so that I can make my body look better to create more idols, to catch a better idol fish. That'll fill the gap. Literally and figuratively.
So are the enlightened ones in their houses by themselves?
No.
I don't need none.
Not necessarily. No. People who are full and enlightened, they also go out and enjoy themselves too. They just go out with a totally different purpose. They actually do go out and find satisfaction. Why? Because they went out with satisfaction. They went out into the world satisfied. And so wherever they go, they find satisfaction. Wherever. grocery store, bar, whatever, someone's house, park, wherever they go, they find satisfaction because they went there satisfied. Why? Because when they felt that illusion of emptiness within them, that that feeling you're like, oh, something's missing, I gotta do something, come on, I gotta make something. They were like, okay, Holy Spirit. They stopped, they went within, and they asked for the correction of the belief that something was missing from them, that they were somehow empty, not having everything they needed within them in that moment. And when they did that, that sense of emptiness, that sense of void, was corrected. It was disappeared, and what they found in this place was fullness, fullness, fullness. Oh, so full. Meaning what? I feel so satisfied right now. And we've all felt that before, right? The Course calls that a holy instant. I'm satisfied. That's a holy instant. And that's the moment of healing. That's a holy instant. That's a moment where now you have correct perception. Now, whatever you do out of this correct perception is going to be a blessing for everyone. Now you are blessing the world. In every moment that you allow that feeling of emptiness and lack within you to be corrected, and you allow it to be corrected by going within and asking for the correction of it. Every moment you do that, the world gains. You are actually blessing the entire world in that moment. Any moment you're not going out into the world to get out of your sense of lack. I'm gonna get a toy to fill the gap. I gotta get another toy to fill the gap. Whoop, I still feel empty. Give me another toy. Whoop, I still feel guilty. Give me another toy. Which means get another person. Get some more money. Get some more things. Get. What can I go out and get to fill the gap?
I wonder if we, without even realizing it, we created that gap. Like, okay, here's an idol, I'm going to stick it between me and love.
Yes.
And this toy, and that thing.
Yes.
And we make it bigger and bigger with each time we try to fill it.
Very good. It's just like your stomach.
Yeah.
The more you eat, the bigger it gets. The same thing with the idols that you get to put in the gap between you and love that's not there. The bigger that gap seems to be in your perception. That's really insightful. Yeah.
Now, you were talking about enlightened people. They have satisfaction, so they take. So then, I just I got an idea that then the reason why they have a different perception is because when I go out, I'm going out to get satisfaction.
Right.
I'm going out to do something to get satisfaction because I believe that I don't have it.
Right.
But they already know that they have
Exactly.
satisfaction, so they just go out and express it.
And express their satisfaction. So everywhere they go, they express their satisfaction. I'm so satisfied with you. I'm so satisfied with this. This is so satisfying. Right. So, and the reason that they are able to do that is because when they felt that sense of emptiness, that felt uncomfortable, they went within and asked for the correction of the belief that they were missing something. That there's something missing within me. You know that feeling? I don't have enough love. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough specialness. I don't have enough intelligence. I don't have enough, whatever. All comes down to I don't have enough love. That's all it all comes down to. What do we want the money for? Love. What do we want the bodies for? Love. What do we want? It's all because we really just want to feel love. That's what it all comes down to. And so all the idols are just so that we can feel love. And then of course every single one of the idols and the toys that we put in that gap that's not there, every single one of them seemed to break the rules we set for it. And did it say some of them? It said every single one of those things we read that we go get from without to put in that gap to put in us. Every single one of them seems to break the rules we made for it. And in other words, not one of them ever was the thing you thought. And you can see that about the idols that we have gone out and gotten, right? You can see that every time we went out and got something, you are going to make me happy. Ooh, if I just had some of that, I'm going to be happy. Ooh, if I just had a little more of that. Ooh, if I just had some more of that. Ooh, if I had that. Ooh, if I had that. Ooh, I'm going to go get it, go get it, go get it. Get it. Oh, I got it. Ah. Yeah. I'm still dissatisfied. And not one of them was what you thought it was. The thing you thought it was. Not one of them. You can't think of one idol we went out and got it, and then we're actually satisfied. Not one of them.
I wish you would have told me this 25 years ago. And I'll tell you why.
Well, I tried. I tried.
What's so funny is that when my husband decided to change form, the marriage,
yeah,
or we decided,
yeah,
I wanted to, but he had a void. Those were
yes.
his exact words.
Yes.
And you just don't fulfill me anymore.
Right.
It's like I got this, and there's a big spot there, and it's
right.
like a void.
Exactly.
You know?
And do you think that he has found something to fill that void by now? Right.
No.
How many years ago was that?
20.
Okay. Right. Exactly.
But that's what, and I just had another experience. My 35-year-old friend, 35 years of friendship, a couple years dumped me. And just said, I never want you in my life again. I don't ever want to see you, and kiss my ass. You know, and that was fine. And my normal rejection thing, I feel, oh God. But I sort of sailed through it.
Yeah.
And I just yesterday said, I wonder if I was the problem. You know,
right.
Because no matter where you go, there you are.
Right. Do you think that their void has been closed now that you're out of their life?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. But let me say this: 20-some years ago,
I'm
yes. telling you, I took that void very personally.
No doubt. That void was real.
So I just said, I wish that we would have had this conversation then.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we maybe did. I don't know. But
yeah.
that you
Yeah,
get the
that's
void put
perfect.
on you. It's
Exactly.
a pretty big slam.
No doubt. Well, you know, when somebody kicks you out of their void, you know, now we start throwing a party. You know, now we're like, oh, thank God. Thank God that person kicked me out of their void because I couldn't leave it myself.
Yeah.
That's true. You know, it's just true. You know, there's so many voids that we're hanging out in, and other people that we don't have it within us at the moment to kick our own selves out. So what do? We set them up so they kick us out. And then we're like, oh, you kicked me out of your void. I was having so much fun in there. It was so satisfying. I loved how everything I did totally satisfied you. And now you kicked me out of it.
That's true.
And there's our grievances right there. That bastard kicked me out of his void. How dare he? When you really see what we are so pissed off at each other about, what our grievances are about, they're funny. It's funny.
The insane part about it is we try to go fill the same void with the shadow figures.
That's right.
The same
That's right.
relationships, the same
That's right.
impressions.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. We're so redundant in our gap filling. You know, it's the same old, same old. You think we go, you know what? I have bought 5,000 new shirts, and not one of them satisfied me. I'm not going to go get another shirt. But what do? There we are back at the mall. I have to have that shirt. That shirt will satisfy me.
Oh, wow.
I have to have it. Same thing with bodies. How many bodies have I had?
Oh, don't get.
Oh, that's for another class. But then we look out and there's another, and we think, that body's different. That body will satisfy me. I'm sure of it. I don't care how much karma I have to rack up. Just like I didn't care how much debt I had to rack up to get that shirt. I don't care. Because that body will do it for me. Or fill in the blank, job, money, whatever. You know, he said, countless toys in countless forms. And not one of them was the thing I thought it was. And
they're all the same.
They're all the same, just different form. A different form of the same belief that there is a gap between me and satisfaction. Saying there's a gap between me and love is the same thing as saying there's a gap between me and satisfaction. Satisfaction is not something that you get from without. As a matter of fact, the more you seek for satisfaction outside of you, the less satisfied you become. Satisfaction comes from taking the belief that there's something missing to the source of truth and saying, please correct this for me. Please correct this feeling that there's something missing and that I feel empty and that I feel this impulse to go out and get. Please correct that belief that there's something missing from me. Thank you. And then staying put like this. Like if you have to tie yourself to the chair, fine, stay put. As you ask for the correction of that feeling which is coming from a belief that there's something missing in you, which could only happen if you were somehow separate from your source. And so you want to tie your hands to the chair and go, I am going to sit here until I receive the correction for the belief that there's something missing from me right now. Because I don't want to get up and do anything from that state of mind. I don't want to get up and do anything from the belief in lack. You know, whatever you do from that state of mind, there's something missing in me and I got to go get something to fill it. Whatever you do is going to be, you're just going to be making another idol. It's going to be making another idol. So before you go out, before you go out, and you're dressing your body up, and you're going out, and you're dressing your body up, stop and sit down on your couch and remember that, and ask for the correction of any belief that you have that you need something or that you need someone to feel satisfied or to feel love. Ask for the correction of that belief before you go out. Have a little note on your door. If you're going out with a friend, sit on the couch with them and go, shall we pause for a moment for the cause so that we don't go out and create more idols, more illusions, and waste a few more years of time maintaining those illusions, suffering from those illusions for no good reason. Shall we sit here on the couch for a moment and remember the truth? We don't need anybody. Yes.
Joining in common purpose to
Yes.
not do that.
Yes. Joining in common purpose to wake up to the satisfaction that you are already in and that you already have as you were created by God. So before you go out, wherever it is, shopping, on a date, to the club, to a party, wherever, you stop and remember that whatever part of you thinks is feeling lack or thinks it's need, to ask that that part be corrected. So that you're not going out into the world with a belief in lack, going to collect more idols. That'll just be more of a costly delay.
Now, it's interesting as you're saying this because, like, and I know this is an ego, because as you're saying this, a part of me is just saying it cannot be that easy.
Yeah.
It needs to be more complicated.
Yeah.
I need to do like A, B, C, D.
Yeah, you
and then
should go
E.
out in that sense of lack and gather a lot of illusions that you make a lot of rules for, and then they break it and you feel heartbroken and angry, and then waste a few years of grievances on that. Should be like that. A little more complicated. I can't believe sometimes in that years I have wasted on grievances because something that was an illusion broke my rules. And how many years of grievances and heartbreak and grievances did I spend on that? I mean, that's what I have to forgive myself for. It's like, wow. I made up that illusion, I projected happiness onto it, it broke my rules for safety and for happiness, and then I attacked it. And then, which really was me attacking myself, so I created drama and pain and lack for myself. For what? Nothing. I'm tired of that. I don't have that much time to waste anymore. That's the gift of maturity. Well, how did you become enlightened? I almost ran out of time. That's how I became enlightened. I ran out of time to waste. Wow, I thought it was going to be something like really esoteric and you meditated every morning. No, I ran out of time to mess around.
Those things that we gather, the new shirt, the new relationship, all those things, I was thinking about them. They all do satisfy for a few seconds.
A few seconds.
Or a couple of days, real temporarily,
Yes.
but they do give us that, I wonder if that's an ego holy instant. Is that why we keep doing it, for that
Yeah.
little tiny bit of satisfaction?
No, what it is the ego has to make poison taste very sweet. In other words, it has to make something that's dangerous or damaging feel good. Just like rat poison has to taste sweet to the rat. And so that's why it feels good for a second. You know, when you get that thing you don't really need.
I like my toys longer than a second.
Yeah, so, relatively speaking. Yeah, relatively speaking. You know, my daughter Aria she'll talk about, you know, she loves candy. And she'd be like, it's so good, I want it so bad. And I'm like, I know, poison tastes so yummy, doesn't it? And she's like, yeah. I always talk about how tasty poison is. It has to be tasty, or else you wouldn't want it.
And you know what my daughter said? She said, buy everything healthy tastes so bad.
Exactly, right, exactly. And so I just talked to her about, well, you know, how tasty poison has to be for you to be willing to ingest chemicals you can't even pronounce. I can't even pronounce that. It better be good. But it's good. So, all right. Okay. Okay, how are we doing on time? Is it tomorrow yet? That's what happens in these classes. The days could go by and I wouldn't notice. Okay, I hope it's that way for you. Okay, so it says, so we're in paragraph 3, and then sentence 4. Those idols that you've collected to fill the gap that's not there, they must appear to break your rules for safety. They must. Why? Since the rules for safety were wrong. The rules I made up for safety were wrong. I said, if that person acts this way, and this person acts this way, and that person acts this way, and they treat me like this, and they act like this, and this need gets met by them, and that need gets met by them, and they do it in this way, the way I like it, then I'm safe. The rules we made for safety are wrong. And so every idol that you bring in must appear to break your rules for safety, since your rules for safety were wrong. But you are not endangered. Your rules for safety are wrong. The rules for which you thought will you be safe, they're wrong. But you are not endangered. You are still safe. Isn't that beautiful?
Cool.
Isn't that great to hear? Even though the rules I made for safety, I need to have this much money. I need to have my mate treat me like this. I need to have them treat me like this. I need to have my body that looks like this. I need to have my body act like this. I need to have my job go like this. The world should go like this for me to be safe. Even though every single one of those rules for safety is wrong, and every single one of those rules for safety made up will be broken, you are still safe. You are not endangered. Yes, your illusions are, but you're not. And just because something breaks your rules and it doesn't act the way you want it to, and it breaks the script, it betrays the role you gave it, and it breaks the script you gave it, you are still safe. And just because your illusions are endangered constantly, that doesn't mean you're not safe. That doesn't mean you're endangered. So when our illusions and our idols and our toys break the rules for safety that we made for them, when people don't act the way that according to the rules we gave to them, we set for them, we need to remember, hey, the only thing that's endangered here is my illusions. The only thing that's happening is the illusions I made up are failing, like they always do. Every illusion I make up is going to fail. That's all that's happening here. I made up an illusion. It could never be what I thought it was, what I wanted to be, and it failed, and that's all that happened. I'm still safe. Just because my illusions fail doesn't mean I'm not safe. My illusions are just doing what illusions do. That person kicked me out of their void and said they never want to see me again. Oh, what's happening? My illusions are just doing what illusions do. Failing. That's all that's happening here. The illusion of that relationship, the illusion of that job, that thing that I was attacking, that certainly was attacking me, it failed. That's all. Just doing what it does.
And so when I get hurt, and when I'm like crying and sad and I'm really hurt, it's because my ego realizes that another one of its illusions has fallen.
Exactly.
But I'm not really hurt.
Exactly.
It's just my ego is the one that's
exactly.
all broken up.
Exactly. The part of you that is an illusion is sad because another illusion failed again. Eventually we're going to get to the point, this is when we're enlightened, we're going to go, hey, illusions fail. That's what they do. Oh. And I'm going to go get an illusion that I know will fail at some point, but I'm going to enjoy it while I've got it. So an enlightened person isn't somebody who's like totally repressing and depriving themselves. They never have any fun, they never have any joy, they never have any pleasure. It's just somebody who's like, this is an illusion, and I'm going to enjoy the heaven out of it until it fails. And when it fails, I'm going to thank God, because that's one less illusion to deceive myself with. Woo-hoo!
Really?
So you're still going to be playing with illusions, even though, you know what I'm saying? Even when you know the truth. You know, it's not like when you know the truth, you don't have nice cars, you don't have nice clothes, you don't have fun, you don't have pleasure. That's not the way it is. You just know what's going on. You're like, this is a tasty bit of poison. And I am going to enjoy it. And because I know that it's an illusion and it will not last and it will fail me because it's a form, because that, when it fails, it's not going to hurt me. I'm not going to go, I'm so vulnerable. I need to go to therapy. Oh. Oh, I feel so disillusioned. Oh, am I ever going to trust love again? How am I ever going to trust another human being again? You don't do that when you know the truth. You just go, man, that illusion. I had a great run with that illusion. That was great. And thank God it ended. Thank God they rejected me. Thank God they kicked me out of their void. Because now there's more space for more illusions. No, it's like has anyone ever kicked you out of their void and you felt relieved?
Yes.
Have you ever lost a job and felt relieved?
Yes.
Okay. So it's possible to have that experience where, but here's the deal: you can only have that when you know it's an illusion, when you know it's an idol. And how do you know that it's an idol? And how do you know it's an illusion? So you don't hurt yourself through it. If it's something outside of you that you think that satisfaction comes from, if you think satisfaction comes from that, then it's an illusion. And that's all it will ever be. It's an idol. But as long as you know that, you can play with it. And it's dancing to your vain desires will delight you. But then when it fails and falls like all idols do, then you're not devastated. I mean devastated. For years. Have you ever had a relationship that when it failed, even though it was a total illusion, it was totally illusionary, when it ended, it took you years to get over?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that what?
That thing that was Norway with all those
Yes.
people got done?
Yes.
Now, according to the courts, we take that as an illusion also? I mean...
Absolutely. Anything that ends is an illusion.
Okay.
So bodies, buildings, absolutely. Absolutely. And what we're being asked to remember is that anything that can be destroyed is not real, meaning that's not who they are.
Okay.
That's not who they were, and who they are can't be destroyed.
Because it's really funny that breaking up in a relationship seems almost more terrible than 80 people die. You know?
To you, exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly, it's
that's
true.
why I was wondering the context of that type of an illusion in this type of thing. So, according to the course, how should we look at a situation? Is it just something we just overlook?
It's just exactly what I was just saying, as to how to look at it. When something fails, when it breaks, when it dies, when it leaves, when it rejects you, when it explodes. There's a countless number of ways that illusions can fail you. You name it.
And there's no hierarchy.
Right.
There's no worse than...
Right. No.
Exactly. Now, what this is talking about, though, is the things that you seek out outside of you that are in form that you think you can gain satisfaction from. Okay? That's what we're talking about here.
No, I understood that. I was just because of the way you were putting it, though, I was trying to stretch out that.
Yes. Which is
pain.
Which is good, because anything that changes, ends, or dies is an illusion. Because truth doesn't change, end, or die. And anything that changes, ends, and dies that you think can satisfy you, the child of God, that's an illusion. That's an idol. And remember, there are countless. We have that illusion in countless forms. Basically, everything. Everything in my experience is something in form that's going to change, end, or die that I think, if I have, will satisfy me. That's why it's there. Okay? So basically, my life, my world is all the idols that I have believed in, that I have surrounded myself in, including this body. This is the original one. This is the original idol of mine. I so wanted idols. I so believed that I could gain satisfaction by filling up the void that I thought existed between me and God, that I jumped into an idol. I jumped into it, I called it birth.
Well, I have noticed those, the more we try to invest reality into whatever form,
Yeah,
that's the extent to which it will hurt you.
that's right.
However much you try to make it real,
That's right.
that's how much it will hurt.
Exactly. To whatever extent you forget that it's an idol, that it's a toy, that you breathed, that you blew up. The more you forget that, the more painful it is when it breaks your rules for safety, which it will. But he says, I'm just going to finish this paragraph and then we'll stop here. He says, but you are not endangered when your idols fail. You are still safe. And he says, you can laugh at popping heads and squeaking toys, just like the child does who learns that his toys are no threat to him. So, just like when the child realizes that, oh, the Jack-in-the-Box is supposed to, the head is supposed to pop up out of the box and go, it's supposed to. I mean, you think about how frightening that would be to a child. You see the head of a clown springing off of its body. How frightening that must be for a child for the first time. Same thing with us. You know, we have this relationship and it's all neat and tidy and it plays music and we wind it and it plays this delightful music and then pop. The top pops off in the person's head. And all of a sudden there's a screaming maniac in your face and you're like, ah! It's terrifying. It's like everybody's like, yeah, that relationship was really fun. It was really delightful as I was turning that crank and playing that music. And it was all neat and tidy. And then it explodes. Literally with a popping head. He says, you can laugh. You can laugh at popping heads. What happened in their relationship? That girl's head popped off. That soft woolly bear began to squeak when I grabbed it. It says, you can laugh at popping heads and squeaking toys, just like the child does who learns that his toys are no threat to him. Yet while you like to play with your toys, you still perceive your toys as obeying rules you made for your enjoyment. And he says, so there still are rules that can seem to break and frighten you. Yet are you at the mercy of your toys? And can your toys represent a threat to you? So he says, once you recognize there are toys, then you can laugh at them when they break, when their heads pop off.
Yeah, they don't like that.
Yeah, no. We haven't gotten to the point where we laugh when our toys' heads pop off yet.
That's when we get the most serious.
We still have to go into therapy. Lucky for me. But that's all I tell people when they come to me for therapy. You're scared because one of your toys' head popped off. But you're still safe. That's all I say. In countless different forms. Okay. So as long as you are making them, as long as you are still seeking something outside of you for satisfaction, you're still making something that you're going to make up rules for your enjoyment. Okay? You're going to go, here's my rules for me enjoying you. Okay? Always do it my way. Don't have any ideas of your own. Only value my ideas. And just do it the way I say, okay? These are my rules for me enjoying you.
Oh, gee.
Okay? But I'm not going to tell you about them. My rules for my enjoyment of you. I'm not going to tell you. Here's the rules for my enjoyment of you. Okay? I'm not going to tell you that. I'm just going to make them up in private. And then, because you don't know what my rules are for enjoyment, you break my rules. In other words, when your head pops off, then I'm going to feel so wounded. I'm just going to feel so vulnerable, so unsafe. Now how can I trust anyone's head not to pop off in the bad moment? You say, is your head gonna pop? Is your head gonna pop off at any given moment? Especially when I'm at the peak of my illusion of enjoyment, of believing that you're obeying the rules I made for my enjoyment of you. Because that's usually when it happens, right? Yeah. Right when you're at the peak of your deludedness, that they are. This one will obey the rules I made for my enjoyment. Now, all the other ones they didn't because they were defective. I don't know, something's wrong with them. They just want the right one. But this one is going to obey the rules for the enjoyment, for my enjoyment of them. Why? Because they said they would. Why did they say they would? Because they wanted to play with me. That's why. They lied. Just like I do. And just when I'm at the peak of my deludedness, that this one will obey the rules I set for my enjoyment of them, their head pops off. What does that mean? That means they go, sorry, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to think what I want to think. That's what we call their head popping off and frightening us. And now we've been betrayed. Now we're endangered. He says, but you're not endangered. Just because your illusions fail, you're not endangered. You can laugh, just like the child who learns that his toys are no threat to him. You can laugh at popping heads and squeaking bears. He says, and you're not at the mercy of your toys. Can your toys, something you made up, be a threat to you? No, it's just a toy you made up. It's just a toy. It's just a toy. It's not anything that can really can your toy really attack you? Yeah. Think about it. Think about like a room full of toys, and you walk into the toy room, and you're afraid that the bear is going to attack you and murder you. It's like, I'm afraid of that bear in the corner. He's looking at me funny. That stuffed Nemo is looking at me funny.
Yeah, but we all do that as children.
Yes,
we all
that's true.
pick things to be terrified
That's
as
true.
children. And just because we get older doesn't mean we become less
That's true.
creative or more intelligent. We still have those toys that terrify us.
Yes.
We just pick grown-up toys.
Exactly.
You know,
I hate them.
I was thinking of the, since I'm already babbling.
Babble on.
I was thinking about the first 4 words of the first paragraph. Weren't they, when you become dissatisfied?
Oh yes, says you will attack what does not satisfy.
Yeah.
And exactly. And what doesn't satisfy?
And so that it seems like a whole lesson just in those 4 words to me. Because when you become dissatisfied, it's a myriad of nightmares, a very impressive group of nightmares, an hour and a half studying nightmares. But the real thing is that I made the decision to believe in those nightmares, and when I become dissatisfied is for me, is the touchstone. That's how I know I've made the switch. I've come out from under the ark, and said goodbye to that, and decided to, and then I get an hour and a half's worth of different nightmares that I can live through ad infinitum. When I become dissatisfied,
Yes.
is the key. When I become dissatisfied, I know right then,
Yes,
I've made the decision to make all this stuff true.
that's right.
I've made the decision to live in this quagmire.
Yes.
I'm going to enjoy it and soak it up,
Yeah.
and it's mine. And all those other terrors are like heralded in by, okay, I'm dissatisfied. I'm okay with being dissatisfied.
Yes. That's right. Exactly. That's right.
You know?
Exactly. If I'm dissatisfied, I know I've made an idol.
Or I've already made up my mind. By the time
Yes.
I'm dissatisfied,
Yes.
I'm so far away from the truth. I have completely already crossed the line.
Totally.
Come what may.
You already believe that
Right.
that gap between you is real. That gap between you and the love you are. Yeah. You already
By
believe
the
it's
time
real.
I'm dissatisfied,
Yeah.
it's all over.
Exactly. By the time I'm dissatisfied, I've already gone out, gotten an idol, projected onto it, then it's going to make me happy, made up rules for my enjoyment of it. Yeah, I've already done that a long time ago, before I even get to the point where I'm like, hey, I'm still empty. Hey, I'm still empty. You know, we even make idols of people. Like, hey, you were supposed to fill in that gap between me and God. You were supposed to make me special. You were supposed to fill me up. And you didn't. You broke the rules I made for my enjoyment of you. We do that to people. That's the whole content of agreements. I made you an idol. You're supposed to fill in that void. You know, and you didn't. And now I'm mad at you. How dare you? You betrayed me. Get out of my void. I'm kicking you out of my void. You have dissatisfied me. Now, let's not talk about the fact that I'm identifying with a state of mind that can't be satisfied. But, you know, we're not talking about that. Just get out. Because I need to find a different idol to put in my gap. That sounds kinky. All right, I'm glad you knew that. So, we are going to stop here this evening. Let's do our love offering. All right. So, I have CDs on the table. They're $10 each if you'd like them. I'm just reading the original edition. I also, just in case you don't know, all my classes are now, you can watch all my classes from my website. So if you go to my website, AnnaKujawa.com, and just go to the video page, you can find my classes. I'm also videotaping my readings now too. So you can also listen to my readings also from my website as well. So you just I'm just sitting there reading. and so you just put it on and then you forget, and then you just walk away. Don't sit there and stare at me. Don't sit there and stare at me reading unless you are really serious about seeing somebody in the state of correct perception. But aside from that, you can just put it on and just leave the room and we still hear it. So I am recording my readings. My classes are also available on my website as well. So, any other questions? Quick
Won't tell
announcements.
about next week.
Thank you. I will be gone in New York. I'm going to tell you the weekend, the Mondays. It's either 1 or 2.
The next 2 Mondays.
Yeah, I will be only 1. I will be not here on Monday, August 8th. Just 1. Jim will be doing my class. Jim does an amazing class. Feel free to come. And then I'll be returning. I'll be back on the 15th. Oh, only 1 Monday. That's great. Okay.
You're facilitating this coming Sunday, right?
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe
Yeah.
not. So, it is possible.
Oh,
All right.
And Anna,
Yes.
I had an announcement.
Please do.
Hi, I'm Chris, and I have been teaching, or I've been conducting a reading of A Course in Miracles on Tuesdays at the 7 Cups Tea House, 1882 South Pearl Street, from noon to 1. So if anyone can come, I'd love to have you guys. And we're still at the beginning, so we haven't gotten too far. Thanks.
Beautiful. All right, so let's do our integration meditation. So close your eyes. And just breathe. I just want you to tune into how you feel right now. Ask yourself, how do I feel right now? Let's start off with forgiveness. Let's start off with a decision to forgive ourselves for, first of all, believing that there was a gap between us and love, us and satisfaction. And then let's join in making the decision to forgive ourselves for all the ways we've tried to fill that gap with illusions. I forgive myself for believing that there was a gap between me and satisfaction, me and love. And I forgive myself for all the ways I tried to fill that emptiness, that void that I believed was in me. It was just a mistake. It was just a mistake. And now I want to forgive myself for all the attack that I perpetrated on all the beings that I made into idols that didn't satisfy me. I forgive myself for making my brothers and sisters into idols. I forgive myself for giving them rules by which I could enjoy them. And I forgive myself for attacking them when they failed my rules. It was just a mistake. It was just a mistake. The truth is still true. My truth and their truth has not been attacked. I did not attack them. I did not attack myself. I did not attack their truth. I did not attack my truth. Their truth and my truth is still united. It's still whole. I forgive myself for believing that I was void of love. I forgive myself for not believing that perfect love exists in me, and seeking for others from that lack. I forgive myself. It was just a mistake. and nothing has happened but love. Still only love exists. Still only love is real. Their love, my love. Nothing happened except a dream in which I had bad dreams. A dream in which I believed that I was as I was not, and a dream in which I used people for what they are not for. Just a dream. I forgive my dream. And now for a moment, I want you to see if just for a holy instant you can look within and perceive no gap between you and love. Say to yourself, there is no gap between me and love. 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 Say it till you feel it.